Okay, and we are now live. So, hello everyone, and welcome to the Slam Jam Championship Wrestling Show here on the Improv Xstreamed YouTube channel, as well as the Slam Jam YouTube channel. So, wherever you're watching, make sure you smash that subscribe button and give us some comments and likes and follows and all of that other jazz. We've got a lot of stuff that we're going to go over in this curious blend of improvised comedy along with wrestling podcast and just, you know, just talking nonsense for about the next hour or so. So on the show tonight, in their quest to be this week's Slam Jam Wrestling Champion, we have Dave. Say hello to the people, and if you have one, give us a random wrestling trivia fact.
Oh gosh, right, okay, well hello, yes, it's Dave Green here again on the old Slam Jam chat, and I haven't prepared a fact. I know it's really bad of me, I'm trying to think of one. How about the fact that, oh yeah, it's a good fact for you. I don't know if it's going to be an alarming story or not, but it's the only person that seems to have Gunther's number in WWE at the moment is Cody Rhodes, who eliminated him from the Royal Rumble for the second time in the year. Second time in a row, rather.
Ah, that is a cool fact. I like it. Yeah, I wonder if they've picked up on that themselves.
Might be. We'll have to wait till next year to see if they do.
Well, exactly. That might be a thing. I'm gonna give a fact here because, like, I gave this in our group chat and I put it on Twitter and absolutely no one cared in the world. So I'm gonna say it here in case someone does care. But we've just had the Royal Rumble, obviously, and they made a thing.
I think someone did pick it up.
What's this?
I think someone did pick up your theory, but yeah, sorry.
Okay, yeah, okay. Well, so they made a thing of the fact that previously we'd had Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels, and Stone Cold Steve Austin win 2 consecutive back-to-back Royal Rumbles. And they made a thing out of it. Will Cody Rhodes be able to do the same? And the thing that I noticed is that, and there is a little bit of an explanation to this, but all of those guys only won the world title at WrestleMania on the year that was their second Royal Rumble win. Now, obviously, when Hulk Hogan won Royal Rumbles, it wasn't that the winner would get a world title shot, even though he did, but he was in the world title match both years anyway.
And he was the champion in the first win.
Yeah, but therefore he lost a world title match out of the first WrestleMania, and the second one he defeated Sergeant Slaughter. The first year Shawn Michaels won it. He then lost to Diesel, but the second year, obviously, he defeated Bret Hart. And then Stone Cold Steve Austin, the first year he won it, they said that it was when they did that Final Four thing, and then he wasn't in the world title match. But then the next year he defeated Shawn Michaels for the world title. And then last year Cody Rhodes won it, failed to defeat Roman. So, spoiler warning, unless this streak is not going to continue, Cody is winning the title. That's my trivia fact. I give myself 11 points. Now, Gav, say hello to the people, and if you have a wrestling trivia fact, let us know.
My wrestling trivia fact is we are in the midst of history right now as we speak. Because it's the first time that there's no McMahon in the wrestling industry.
Yeah. So they say. Right.
Well, unless you count Triple H, he might have changed his name to McMahon.
Yeah, well, possibly. Like, I don't know, how old are the Stephanie and Triple H daughters? Because they are blood. How old is Shane's son? Are they, they're going to all be involved soon. They're coming back, guys.
They're coming back.
Okay, and Dev, say hello to the people, and do you have a random wrestling trivia fact for us?
Hi, I'm Dev, and my trivia fact is Terry Funk debuted in the year that The Undertaker was born.
What? That's insane.
Wow.
Yeah. And do you know what year that was?
1965.
Wow, that's insane. Wow, you definitely get a point for that. Oh, and apparently we have, joining us, Tony Khan has an important announcement. Hello, TJ.
Hey, can you hear me?
We can indeed. Yes. And we can see you. Say hello to the people. We are live. And if you have one, give us a random wrestling trivia fact.
Okay, I haven't done this in a long time. Okay, so you remember, I think it was WrestleMania 2034 when the Hardys returned. It was a shocking return. The previous night they had they wrestled the Young Bucks in some ROH show or some indie show. At that point, the only people that knew about the Hardys' return, other than the people involved in the match, were the Young Bucks. And the chairman of the board at that time, not taking his name because I don't know if you're Chris Benoit him or not, but specifically spoke to the Young Bucks, asking them to not injure, to make sure that the Hardys are safe for their return.
Wow, so you're saying Vince spoke to the Young Bucks and asked them not to injure the Hardys?
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised by that, but here's the other thing. I felt that was the least surprising return in the world. Weren't they actually chanting Hardys? Like Hardy and stuff like that, literally just before they came out.
As far as I remember, everyone thought because the New Day were heels and they were hosting WrestleMania, everyone thought that they were going to insert themselves.
They were the
into the
hosts.
That's what they want. They stood there in their gear, and who's it gonna be? Who? It was so obvious.
Yeah.
They did this. I knew the Hardys were gonna be there.
So
It was no less a good moment though. Well, the pop was huge.
It was good.
I remember that day perfectly because.
Go on, Dev.
Sorry.
No, go for it.
The basically the reason everybody knew about it because the return had leaked 3 hours before Mania, so that's how everyone knew about it.
I also knew about it though because they had been in TNA and then they weren't, so it was obvious that they were going back to WWE.
There's a lot of lead up to it.
Yeah, there was stuff, but absolutely, I think everyone in the world but TJ knew about it. It would seem.
Sorry, go on, Dave.
I would argue that Jeff Hardy probably didn't know anything about it either.
Yeah. But no, Dave, I do agree.
Cool, let's do it. Okay, cool.
I do agree. That was a hell of a moment. It went down so well. Okay, good. So we've got our introductions round out of the way. Shouldn't put it that way. But now let's talk about some of the things that's been going on in the world, Dave.
So I'm just going to ask because I think it's been quite a quiet week personally. I mean, since this show's been on, apart from Raw going on Netflix, Rock on the TKO board, Vince McMahon in general, Royal Rumble, CM Punk's tri-set, Triple H being rubbish at a press conference, and Johnny Ace's pathetic attempt to defend himself. What is there to actually talk about, Dave?
Oh, Brock Lesnar, you forgot that. Okada. There's all.
And Monet.
All right, way to shit on my Monty tag.
Hey! No one's going to shit on anything anymore. That term doesn't work anymore. Right. Right. Okay. Now, I've got so many jokes about that, but it's inappropriate. I've got to wait a while. Now, anyway, so where would anyone like to begin? What is called? Let's start with the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble. Has everyone here seen the Royal Rumble?
Yes.
Dev, have you seen the Royal Rumble?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Are everyone happy? No, it's not about that. Wasn't a quiz question. Okay. Right. I'm just checking in to make sure we're all on the same page here. So we had Cody Rhodes win the men's rumble. We had Bayley win the women's rumble. Was anyone surprised? Was anyone hoping for anything different?
I was surprised at Bayley winning, but I think only because I've not apparently been watching SmackDown close enough for the last few weeks. Because apparently everyone predicted Bayley except for me.
I wasn't sure if they were going to actually go with that until I saw Becky get eliminated. I was like, okay, Bayley is winning this then. Because I thought they were setting up Becky versus Rhea. So as soon as I saw her go, then I was like, yeah.
For me, I'm gonna be honest. I don't really follow WWE that much. I've just been following the Cody Roman story, so that's the one that I wanted to watch the event for, and so I was very indifferent. I honestly I'm not following the story in the Women's Royal Rumble, so they could have had Nia Jax win, and I wouldn't have been surprised.
Well, I think that was a realistic possibility as well, to be honest.
Also true.
Yeah.
Although they did the tradition of making the winner look bad in the lead up to the event, where Bayley was losing a lot, getting attacked a lot and stuff before she won, to build her up for the win.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like, I think with the men's rumble, it was always going to be either Punk or Cody. With the women's rumble, they did have a few more options. We didn't know that Jade Cargill was going to make her debut in the rumble, although it was somewhat of a safe bet. And as soon as she was there, I was like, Jade's going to win. Jade's doing it, but then she didn't. And Becky winning, Bianca winning, it could have happened, but I feel like they've dropped the momentum quite a lot on Bianca. And I said this during like the show when I was chatting. Like Gav, you were there live at the time. I was like, I'm so sick of Becky at the moment, right? Because she comes across as overconfident, and she's not selling me on her character anymore, basically. But Bayley, long overdue. Because if you even think back a couple of years ago, they just had her sort of as this annoying character backstage because of injury or something like that. So it's good to see that she was able to make that kind of comeback to now obviously be going on to a Mania World Championship match, I guess.
Although something I'd like to discuss about the Women's Royal Rumble is the Forbidden Door.
Yes. But do you know what?
I know in the press conference, Triple H says they don't need no door. They just do stuff. Triple H says it's.
Yeah.
Well, once every two.
Things at that press conference, and we shouldn't necessarily listen to everything he says.
Yeah, but once every 2 years, they'll bring in the TNA Women's Champion. You know, Moose is sitting at home. What the hell? you know.
This is the first time they promoted TNA to the level that they did, and even the person in charge of TNA now thanked them for the opportunity to work together.
Yeah, like, I was saying this a few weeks ago on the show, that I felt like the forbidden door between AEW and TNA went super cold. Like, and I don't know what happened there, but it looks like a new relationship has been fostered between WWE and TNA. There was that whole thing about TNA's new app is somehow connected to what Endeavor's app is for UFC or
same software.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, I've got Microsoft Word and so do you. We must be in cahoots on something. But other than that, yeah, like, I would like to see some more crossovers. Like, there was some teasers just between Jordan Grace and Natalia saying about, oh, well, I'd like to like have a one-on-one match. And Natalia was like, oh, bring it on sort of thing. I could see the possibility of Natty going to TNA this year. I think that's a possibility. Anyone from the... No, go ahead, Gav. Go ahead.
I was going to say, leading to your point, I think she even challenged Bianca to come across and said that it would be a different outcome if she'd done it on the... Well, not the Impact Zone, but the TNA side of things, so...
Yeah. How much does home turf actually make a difference in a wrestling ring?
Well, back in the day it would, because you always lose at home, so...
Well, it's true. Yeah.
Even if it was an Impact crowd, you know that as soon as Bianca and Natty are turning up, the crowd's going to go absolutely batshit insane anyway, because they're like, "Oh, it's a real star."
Yeah,
yeah.
It's like what they did in WCW when Nash and Hall turned up. It was always going to be them getting cheered because it's new, it's different. They've not seen these people in this area before.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Okay, has there ever been anyone, this is just for fun, has there ever been anyone who's like jumped ship to a different company and just got the coldest reaction in the world? Like the audience just didn't care?
I think there was the old, do you remember the old Rumbles where they bring in people from like All Japan or AAA? There's that 97 Royal Rumble where the AAA luchadors, about 4 of them come out, just no reaction at all. I mean, one of them was Mil Mascaras, I've got to say. So,
I think when... This wasn't quite jumping ship in the same way because obviously they were under WWE contract, but when Chronic, Crush and Adam Bomb returned to WWF against the Brothers of Destruction, and the crowd could not care less.
And that's because part of the invasion storyline, that was so bad.
Yeah.
Remember the match they had, Kane and Undertaker against Chronic? It's one of the worst matches ever.
Well, the thing about Chronic is you've got these two guys who are like 6'7", and especially they were a few years past their sell-by date. All they could do is throw people around, and you put them against two guys that are 7 foot, so they couldn't even throw people around.
But the thing is, they're both Undertaker's friends, and he
Yeah.
was the one who actually vouched for them. So he actually brought them across. And
But then in the match, he didn't fucking sell for him. He just stood
exactly.
did nothing.
Guys, I'll be back. I'll be back in a moment. You guys.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
so-
Sorry. Sorry. Sorry.
Although,
Apparently,
Regarding
Undertaker got in
the-
trouble for that.
Go on, Dev.
regarding the worst reaction to a crossover, like a jump shipper, Okada, TNA, first time.
Jesus, did you hear like a cat squeal? Right, oh, it was his door. Right, Okada, okay, how many years ago was that? Because how big a deal was Okada back then? I don't think he'd got the
It
same...
wasn't a jump ship.
It wasn't
though,
a big
was
deal.
It
It was
going to
after he came.
Go on, TJ, do you know when?
It was after his TNA run that he got big. During his TNA run,
Yeah.
he was not that.
Yeah, he was on excursion.
Ah,
Yeah,
fair enough.
like, absolutely, and... That brings us to where do we think Okada is going now? Because he's still got a couple of dates booked for New Japan, but his contract is officially 2 days up. So now he'll be either heading to WrestleMania or he'll be heading to Revolution. What do we think?
I was just laughing at the fact that when Gavin was drinking his water there, it blended in with his background, so it just looked like he was drinking his chimney.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. I was getting Tony Khan drinking moments there. Right.
Okada's still got a couple of dates left in February to work for New Japan. His contract is up. But he is one of those dates, apparently. So, I'll be controversial. I actually think he should go to WWE. I think it'll be a complete fresh coat of paint.
My
Yeah.
hypothesis about why he's going to WWE is, if he was going to AEW, New Japan would still be able to sell his merchandise. But I got a message from New Japan, like this week, saying to me, "This is the last week you'll be able to buy Okada merchandise."
Nah, New Japan is really strict about that. Like, even when Jay White left, they made sure all the New Japan merchandise from Jay White it was gone. So New Japan is also with the copyrights. They're super strict about these. I do think, however, there's a higher chance of him going to WWE because his current run, his last few matches in New Japan, it looks like this goodbye tour, and it's again, like you said, if he was going to AEW, I would assume he would still be working Wrestle Kingdom. I would assume he would still be, doing stuff with New Japan. It kind of seems like he's saying goodbye to that,
Okay,
that
so
sphere of wrestling.
let's look at the evidence we've got for that, because obviously they did a similar, well, not a similar thing, but it was announced a couple of months ago. Will Ospreay is finishing up with New Japan and will be going to AEW. Now, obviously, he's English, so the idea of going back out to Japan all the time, it might be, well, that's too much of a change for him. Jay White, though, has he been back to New Japan since he left?
No.
Exactly. So it might be a sign that even though the Forbidden Door is a thing, they could, like, someone signing with AEW is rather than whilst they're in New Japan is kind of like signing with Ring of Honor whilst you're in AEW. There's no reason why. It would just be that AEW has first dibs if they've got clashes of shows. But as long as their pay-per-views don't clash, he could still theoretically appear in both.
True.
Let's place our bets now, guys. Okada.
However, with Jay White, I would say they are doing this.
Fine.
They were doing the story that he cannot go back to New Japan. I still think he's going to win the New Japan Strong title from Eddie Kingston, who is the person who prevented him from wrestling in New Japan. There was a stipulation if not the Strong title. Sorry, what's the New Japan title that Kingston's holding?
Isn't
there
it
was
the
a
Strong?
stipulation that if
Yeah, strong.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So there was a stipulation that if Jay White
why-
loses, he can never compete
Yeah.
for New Japan. So maybe they do a storyline where White wins the title from Eddie Kingston, and that's his way back to New Japan.
But why would he put that title on the line if the company that owns that title he's not allowed to wrestle for them?
Maybe it's like suspension of disbelief. Somehow they use that as an excuse to wrestling can be silly. Somehow they use that as an excuse for him to
Yeah,
go back to.
I see what you mean. So they might have the idea, if he said, well, look, I'm going to concentrate on AEW, they might say, well, if you're just going to come back here at some point, let's do a definite thing that you can't be here anymore, so that when you come back, it's a big return.
Exactly.
Which might be what AEW are doing with MJF, this whole thing about he's not on their roster page. It would just seem like he's returned, and it's like, well, he was just injured. He hasn't. Yeah, it's no real win, but it makes someone's return feel like more of a victory. That they
Doesn't his contract expire this year?
Allegedly, but yeah, like what was it? Always said the bidding war of 2024 has gone completely silent.
Yeah.
I think he resigned the moment he did he wore the devil mask for the first time. I think that was when he resigned.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Well, the weird thing about that is that they did that terrible idea of playing the voice recorded message of Tony Khan saying like, Max, I'm going to make this one exception for you. I think this is really mean what you're doing to the fans. But we're going to give you the new contract, and it's not. But basically, the idea is that he wanted the new contract, but without extra time on it, and so then it would still be the bidding war of 2024.
Yeah.
Now, it might be that they came to terms then, but there's so much about that which is just a mystery, because who was MJF to suddenly literally walk out in the middle of the year? That I've never quite understood how he felt like he was.
I was going to say, the other thing with MJF is that he's actually filming. He's got another movie coming out as well. So,
Has he?
Yeah. So I can't remember what it's called, but he's got another one after the Iron Claw.
Oh, wow.
That one's in bits now,
Okay, has anyone seen Iron Claw? Because
not yet.
every time it's on at the cinema, I'm working, so I can't ever get to see it. It's really pissing me off.
I'm hoping to go and see that sometime soon anyway, but like this weekend.
It's only got like, well, every time, like it might depend on which cinema and which area, but every time I look to see when it's always on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday night when when I'm not available. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's got a wide release, at least not at any of the cinemas within a 50-mile radius of where I can go.
Although, if you are going to see it, be aware they cut MJF scenes a lot.
Oh really?
Oh really?
Yeah, he's hardly ever in it.
Oh wow. That's a bit of a theme, because was there that thing someone shared earlier? It might have been, I forget, someone the group said about Seth Rollins' scenes have been cut from Captain America.
And Becky was cut from Eternals.
Becky Lynch was going to be in the Eternals.
I didn't even know that.
Wow, I'm not going to lie, she was lucky. I really didn't like that film. That film was long. They had to cut something. Oh, but what a shame. Like, I'm surprised actually, unless there's some more Mandalorian stuff going on, that we haven't seen more of Mercedes Moné, like, since leaving WWE, being more like movies or TV shows, because she was in Star Wars.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Cool.
You know who's more active now in the acting scene, though?
Sorry, say that again, Dev?
Someone who's more active in the acting scene now is John Cena. I'm seeing a lot more of his movies coming out. Like Argyle, this week, he's in it as a character with Henry Cavill.
Wow. Have you seen the movie?
Not yet. It's on my list.
Oh, I was literally going to go see it today, but I wasn't able to in the end. So, I didn't even... I couldn't remember that Cena was in it. Okay, so I will come back to the question I started to ask a few minutes ago, but that's fine. Let's place our bets, and we can do this with a couple of them. So first of all, Okada, where do we think he's landing? You know, WWE, AEW. Imagine if he signed with TNA. He was just there. Obviously, he's not going to. But so let's quick fire. Dave, where do you think he's going? WWE. Dev, where do you think he's going?
I'm going to go an extra mile and say NXT.
Oh, okay. That's specific. Right.
Yeah, really needs the NXT workout.
Yeah, Okada totally needs that NXT run.
Yeah. TJ.
You know, when it was about the Royal Rumble, my mind said Punk's winning, my heart said Cody's winning. I'm going to go with my heart, and I'm going to say Okada's going to AEW.
Okay. Gav.
ROH.
Imagine.
I'm not too sure. can't really call it. I would like to see him in WWE to see something different.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But they'll rename him. They'll rename him. With like again, there's been jokes about this. Yeah, he'll be
Do you
like
think so?
Al Qaeda. No, that doesn't work. Can't be Al Qaeda.
I said they'll call him Kazioki Doki.
Yeah, exactly. But like they could give him a mouthpiece. I think we said before to put him with someone, but
Yeah.
I think that's not going to work because he's like he'll come in as a babyface, and if they just bring him in and he has like a stare down with someone and it leads into a good match or two, but after a little while they'll need to do something with him. AEW, I don't quite know what AEW will do with him.
Can
Here's
you
the thing.
imagine, like,
Here's the
if they,
Sorry,
Go on,
Sorry.
Gav.
yeah, can you imagine if they like do the production with WWE with the Rainmaker, sorry, just what they could actually do with that alone, the camera angles and even some of their I don't know what you call it, the cartoon, the animation stuff as well, like
The augmented reality.
yeah,
The-
that's
yeah.
it. That would actually be pretty good.
Like literally, it starts raining.
Yeah.
Yes, that I'd like to see.
That'd be good.
What
Perhaps
I
so.
feel like is, they could do that, but so honestly, I don't see either AEW or WWE handling Okada very well, and not as good as New Japan did. But also, I think primarily because I'm not sure if the American audience is gonna get Okada, and I just I had really high expectations for Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah.
I think if he goes to WWE, like Gav said, they're going to give him that very high production value. But I just don't see Okada being the Okada of New Japan in WWE.
If they
I
do,
don't see-
if they do a bunch of like vignettes where they just sort of explain this guy, and look, this is where they need some footage. Maybe look, they're not going to do a Forbidden Door thing, but they need to show some package of like who he is, and they could just film some stuff, where we see. You're gone.
I mean, not necessarily. I don't think I think you can make someone look like a big deal without, the packaging. Say, for example, think of it this way. You have Gunther, who, say, just for the sake of this conversation, let's say Gunther challenges Rollins for the title at Mania, beats Rollins, holds both the titles, the IC and the WWE title. Next night on Raw, Gunther does an open challenge. Okada comes out and beats Gunther. Right there, you have made wrestler. Previous night, because of Rollins' injury, you can also have Gunther squash Rollins. So the guy that squashed the WWE, the World Heavyweight Champion, loses to Okada, loses both the titles. Give him both the titles on his first match. I think
Wait,
he
you're
just
saying
has
to give Okada the world title in his first match? That's
I mean,
People are
that's one way to make him a star. Basically, as they, Paul Heyman said this during Inside the Ropes interview, where he was like, when you build Brock Lesnar, who had just beaten Cena, who had just beaten The Undertaker, you have to continue his momentum until someone else can dethrone him and absorb their star power, basically. So he could easily make a star.
I remember. Heyman also mentioned it was the year when they did that Goldberg Lesnar match where Goldberg squashed Lesnar at Survivor Series. I think it was the same year when they also did Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar, and Heyman mentioned it was just very bad timing. Brock Lesnar would have personally been interested in having blood feuds with Samoa Joe, but because they were building up to, bringing Goldberg back, they needed to have Lesnar have these very easy victories against guys like Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman, so that you see this undefeatable monster, and then Goldberg comes in. spear 1, 2, 3 within.
Did they even
less
have
than-
that plan though? Because like the Goldberg deal came about quite last minute, and then literally
Yeah.
that's why even on his promo he was like, "You're last," and then he beats him, and then they're like, "Well, do some more." That went well.
I don't know what the.
I think you're confusing the events. I think all that stuff with Joe and the championship run came.
Yeah, those are two different things.
Oh, okay, okay.
Two different events. And I remember that clearly because Goldberg is the only person responsible for derailing the careers of two members of the Wyatt family. He beat Braun Strowman when Braun Strowman was on the rise, and he beat The Fiend when The Fiend was on the rise.
Yeah.
He also took down
Kevin
Bret Hart,
Owens.
so I've heard rumours about. You know, like
Brock Lesnar ever wrestled the Fiend.
Brock
No.
Did-
Goldberg.
Goldberg.
Goldberg, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so
Okay.
But I mean, what I was saying is like I think honestly, even when I see Kenny Omega in AEW, I still don't see Kenny the cleaner, the Kenny Omega that I saw in New Japan.
No.
I don't know, like maybe I'm a bit biased towards Japanese wrestling. I just don't see the same intensity, the same level of wrestling in the US.
I
I
agree.
feel like AEW Okada will be somewhat of a watered down version of Okada from New Japan, but WWE Okada will be a way more watered down version of New Japan. And I'd rather, if it was up to me, I'd rather be a selfish fan, and in AEW I still get to see him wrestle at a certain level, have all these dream matches. In WWE I just see him have maybe one very good match with Shinsuke Nakamura, which is also not given a lot of time, and then he lost in the shuffle.
I was just going to ask, do you think it's like that with most of the Japanese wrestlers? Because I look at even like the women's division and Asuka, she was completely different in New Japan. As well, what was it, New Japan?
no.
Well, in
No,
Japan.
not New Japan.
Not
Not New
Japan.
Japan.
What was it? Sorry, Shimmer. Not
Stardom?
Was she in Stardom?
I know what you're saying, Gab, but we don't know
Yeah.
what
I'll look up where she was.
She was completely different to what she is. Like there was the meaner version when she came to NXT.
Yeah.
Which was really good. And then it just watered out from
Well,
there.
yeah,
I
but
think NXT
this,
Asuka was brilliant.
but like
NXT Asuka was
NXT back in the day was run by Triple H.
Yeah.
Anyone going to WWE, like that's how we ended up with the Viking experience. Like
Yeah.
everyone that was in NXT that was working, like even what was like Bo Dallas was a NXT champion, and Adam Rose and people like this, when they just got absolutely, they're absolutely jokes when they got to the main roster. And Vince would always lean into stereotypes or whatever. So
or just wouldn't get them at all. So,
Yeah.
like,
or
my
if they're
favourite-
small.
My favourite bad.
Look at
my
NXT
favourite
2.0.
bad call-up.
Yeah, go ahead.
My
Dan.
bad call up from NXT to WWE is EC3 because it was this great talker, like charisma all the way, and he got up the main roster and didn't speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never gave him any time.
Speaking of NXT for a second, I wish Adam Rose came onto the main roster as Leo Kruger.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Like, whatever happened to Adam Rose? Because there was a whole thing about that it sort of like had issues or whatever. But then I saw like a year or two ago that he was insanely ripped and huge.
Yeah,
And it's like
he became steroids incarnate.
he
He was like built like Brock Lesnar now.
I'm going to find a photo. Let's bring up Adam Rose
Today,
2020.
but I'm not convinced that's recent. I think that was shortly after he was released and went on like tour over here and all that. So it's been on the indies quite around since he got released and doing like a watered down like version of like the what were they called, the party posse or whatever they called. What were they called?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, let's see how old this is. Because
I'm not convinced that most recent picture is actually that recent.
okay, let's see if I can find out. Link in new window. Oh no, not new window. Let's bring it up in a new tab. So no, it says 2019. So it's crazy just because like the pandemic. That doesn't feel like it was that long ago, but it was 5 years ago now. But look at this. He literally looks like he's a missing Steiner brother.
Whoa.
That's insane. He looks like
Yeah.
he's
Damn.
like Rick Steiner's cousin or something. But I'll see if I can find a more recent one of him.
To go back to your point earlier, when you were saying about where Okada will go, I will say though, if he does go to NXT, it depends because NXT's got a big event coming up this week, and they've got Ilya Dragunov versus Trick Williams, and Trick's like really hot at the moment. He's very, very popular, and I would likely say he'd go with the title from Ilya. But if he doesn't, because this whole thing will come out of Hayes, and this is the story they're telling there with those two, I would say that if they're going to do that and keep the title on Ilya, what better way to bring in Okada than to have him and versus Dragunov for the NXT title? That would be something I would like to watch.
That'd be good.
This has to be a different guy, because I'm so confused. This can't be Adam Rose yet. Well, hang on, look. I put in Adam Rose 2023, and it's brought up this guy. Like, how can you go from that? That can't be him. Yeah, at the same time, I look at it, I'm like, well, could it be? That can't be the real Adam Rose. That is someone else.
No.
What a journey that would be from that. Oh, I've lost it. To that. I hope it is. In fact, I'm not going to find out. I'm just going to... I want that to be true.
Gone from Adam Rose to Adam Rosebud.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, gosh. Okay, so guys, look. What else? What else is on? What do you want to talk about? To quote Cody.
I don't want to talk about Vince McMahon. Let's avoid that entirely.
Yeah.
Well,
okay. Well, look, we did this for for Okada. Like, do we think that Vince McMahon is going to be all elite, guys? Place your bets.
No. He might be behind it or the elite jail cell, but
yeah, unbelievable.
But I'm gonna make a prediction.
Uh-oh.
I don't think Vince McMahon is like, because this guy is so much messed up in the head. In a few months or maybe a year or so, he's going to try to come back. He's going to do something. This guy
He did that
hijacked.
last year.
Yeah, he hijacked his own company. He's gonna do something.
Yeah. No, this isn't going to be the end of Vince McMahon, because like when this all came out, like time for me to retire. Then he came back with a Walt Disney mustache, and he was literally stood next to The Rock, like a week ago. We should speak about The Rock in a second. Board of directors, Netflix. We can talk about all of these things. But yeah, so he'll find a way back, I'm sure, in some form or fashion.
He can't. It's different. It's a different circumstance now. It's a different thing with this conglomerate between them and UFC and the whole TKO merger thing. It's not the same thing. It's not his own company that he's trying to get back into now.
Yeah, true.
It's a different thing. They're going to have different.
When he came back before,
different things that have got different things in place to stop this sort of thing from happening. He's a bad thing to be happening for this brand new company, this brand new conglomerate.
Oh, yeah,
they want to distance themselves from him as much as
okay,
possible.
correct me if I'm wrong on this, but the timeline before was that he retired, but when he came back, it was so that he could facilitate the sale, wasn't it? So yeah, absolutely. It was still, he could just walk straight back in theory.
yeah.
No, I'm not saying he's coming back. I'm saying he's going to try to come back. He's going to do something or the other. He's going to, I don't know.
I think he's going to do like Enzo and just sort of stand up on a chair in the crowd.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And glasses trying to disguise himself to get back in.
Yeah. What, Tony Khan's
He'll
wrist?
feel himself like doing the power walk all the way around.
It's like, how did you know it was me? Right. Right, anyway.
I thought that was what the mustache was about.
Well, that was his disguise. Yeah.
It got everyone talking and put them off from actually talking about him, didn't it? So it kind of worked.
He should get a neck tattoo like Cody. That was a distraction. Okay, let's talk about The Rock and let's talk about Netflix. So first of all, The Rock, he's now on the board of directors. So literally, why would he want to be head of the table now? He's already on the board of directors. He outranks Roman, unbelievably.
During the Attitude Era, during the 2000s, I'm pretty sure at some point he said this is no longer the World Wrestling Federation, this is the World Rock Federation.
Yeah.
And it's almost come true.
Yeah.
Well, first he bought the XFL from Vince, and now he's on the board of directors. Now, he's not an owner or something, but it almost feels like he's on the board of directors, Vince isn't, that they were stood together, and then the next day, I swear, I said this before, and look, I'm not 100% serious with this, but the whole thing about Nick Khan was like a childhood friend of The Rock. Nick Khan came in, and over like the 4 years since then, suddenly The Rock has bought the XFL, and now he's on the board of directors for WWE. It's like,
got to go to him for.
well, exactly. It just feels like this is like an inside job. All of these scandals and that. This has been orchestrated. This is literally Game of Thrones. It's Game of Thrones. There is some sort of, and I've never seen the show Succession, but yeah, exactly. Nick,
David.
Yeah, go for it.
Speaking of inside jobs, what is Nick Khan's surname?
Well, exactly. You know, there are so many suspects. Well, okay, so
TKO.
Okay, so
TKO.
Tony Khan, exactly. Oh my God, we're onto it here, guys.
Sorry, all I could hear, when Judy was saying TKO, all I wanted to say was, it's in the game.
It's in the game. Oh wait, what is that?
That was EA.
Oh, EA Sports. All right. Okay, so let me say this before, because I have mentioned this previously. It's like a murder mystery, like who shot JR sort of thing. So was it that Stephanie and Triple H wanted to remove Vince?
Someone shot JR?
Well, you know what I mean. Like, was it Stephanie and Triple H? Sort of like, I don't want to downplay serious stuff, and the courts will deal with all of that, I'm certain, right? But at the same time, it feels like he was a person that could be put in a position to make a mistake, and that, you know, bait was put for him, and then suddenly Stephanie was now the president. But also The Rock and Nick Khan. Like, Nick Khan came in as the replacing, what was it, George Barrios or whatever, as the former vice president.
Yeah.
And then
Barrios.
it's a me, right? And then suddenly The Rock is now on the board of directors and owns the XFL. And like you said, Khan and Tony Khan, he's like, well, I'm starting this promotion. It's like, well, just send someone round to Vince and make sure you're recording or whatever. It just feels like there's multiple suspects for who has orchestrated this whole thing to topple the downfall of Vince McMahon. This should be a play. I'm going to write this.
I was going to say, you should write a book about it.
I might. I literally might.
If this is true, though, if all this conspiracy is true, you know, what's the saying? Couldn't have happened to a better man, or couldn't have happened to a worse person.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it couldn't have happened to a better man? Yeah, couldn't have. It's like, considering Vince McMahon, you know, he kind of back in the day destroyed the whole
Territories?
the territorial wrestling system, and then for years actively tried to destroy every other promotion that existed. So honestly, it's like Vince's past catching up to him. And of course, everything that he did in WWE, everything he did that's included in the allegation, it's pretty messed up.
So you're saying this is Awesome Kong? Oh, sorry, I mean Karma.
Yeah, this is us. This is Karma.
It's like the ghost of Greg Gagne for all the territories he's destroyed.
He's not even dead.
But
Wait, what's his dad though? You mean
That's how that is. Vern?
Vern Gagne? Yeah, Vern.
Yeah. Vern.
Okay, was Vern Gagne insensitive, but had got like Alzheimer's? Was this the story? Does anyone else remember this? Like Alzheimer's in a care home, and then literally this kind of goes into the whole Chris Benoit territory. But like the real story was there was like a really old time wrestler who literally just started wrestling people when he was in his 80s or 90s, and they were like, he's still kind of dangerous. I think this was Vern Gagne. If I'm wrong, I completely retract it. But I think that's the story.
Now you're going down that road, though. Is this just Vince at his stage of life getting dementia?
No, he's always been like this.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, look how many clips like people have shared. Well, of like, what was that clip someone shared? Dave, was it you that shared it? Where Vince said on SmackDown or whatever with Stephanie there, and he's like, "I'm going to get a new woman who's voluptuous, and she's going to be your age, Stephanie." It's like none of these have aged well.
No.
You know.
But the thing is, as well, like, I'm just going back. I don't know if you've read the documents.
No, to be honest, I've seen bits and pieces came up on.
I avoid them.
I generally avoid them if I'm honest.
I actually was like, bar the last 10 pages, I actually read it. And it's crazy because each page I turned, it got worse and worse.
Well, exactly.
And they actually showed the texts as well.
Yeah.
And it was disgusting. And I was just there thinking, is this guy actually right in his head what he was actually writing to this girl? It's just sick.
I mean, but also just, again, like, in terms of leaving evidence that's going to come back and bite you and everything like this, you know. But anyway, coming back to The Rock. So The Rock is now on the board of directors. He's got the rights to the name The Rock, which is like a big deal. I don't actually know what he'll do with that more than what he was anyway, because Dwayne Johnson is, I'd say, just as big a name now. People might still call him The Rock, but no one doesn't know who Dwayne Johnson is. But so he's got the rights to The Rock. He's on the board of directors. A headline I read earlier was that he's still looking to have the match with Roman. So what do we think this does for WrestleMania? Is Rock going to become a regular? There was something in that press conference or whatever where they announced The Rock was on the board of the directors, which made it where he sort of said something where it's like, oh, and when you're on the road all the time, and I can't remember the quite wording that he said, but it made it sound like he would be more of a presence in WWE.
What I was going to say is, like, I think I put it in the chat, what I took from what he was there saying as well, he wanted to create, like, the biggest moment, and where, like, he wanted to make WWE the biggest. Obviously, with the Netflix, you're going to get that. So, what bigger stage is it for him with Netflix and Roman going one-on-one? So that's going to be, what, 25? That's next year, isn't it?
Do you know what, though? WrestleMania 40, there's something special about that round number.
Yeah.
And also, The Rock is, every year that goes past, The Rock has got less chance of being able to pull off that match again. It's 10 years since he wrestled Eric Rowan. Sorry, what's that, Dave?
Yeah.
So every year that goes past as well, Roman's going to be wrestling less.
Yeah, exactly.
However, so I feel like if WrestleMania 40 you do Rock Roman, you have that big moment, but that's it. Rock's gone, Roman's gone, it leads to nothing. However, you do Roman Cody wins the title, he finishes his story, he's the new babyface. Then episode 1 of WWE or WWE Raw on Netflix, you promote the main event of the very first episode of Raw on Netflix. You have
Rock and Roman.
Exactly.
On Raw.
It's the very first episode. It's the very first. You need to do something big in the very first Netflix episode. You need all your viewers to watch.
I get what you're saying, TJ, but
I understand.
You can't do that when you've got the chance of selling a huge amount of tickets for something like that.
Okay,
People will go see Rock and Roman.
Stay with me. So you do Rock Roman. You promote Rock versus Roman episode 1 of Raw on Netflix. A lot of people are going to get that Netflix subscription just to watch that match. You show Netflix that, look, this is the draw that we have.
But but they're starting in January, so it'll be the Royal Rumble, and then like 3 months later they've got WrestleMania.
Exactly. Hear me out.
You're not selling enough tickets. You can sell out a whole stadium.
I was just about to say the stadium. Yeah.
Hear me out.
We'll hear you. We'll hear you.
So, WrestleMania 40, Roman loses to Cody, goes away for a while, comes back, goes unhinged, maybe feuds with Jimmy, feuds with Solo, and then episode 1, Netflix, Rock versus Roman, Rock's back to save his family or something. You end the match with maybe no contest, maybe Roman wins via shenanigans, something, and then you do the rematch at WrestleMania. So it would be kind of like a false advertisement, but...
Do you really want the first Netflix show to end in a dusty finish?
Yeah.
You don't want to.
It gives a bad impression.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't give the best first impression.
I think
And again, I think they won't turn down the opportunity to make so much money.
I think the way that things are going, if they were smart, look, Punk is out the picture. Then I thought the promo Seth gave to Cody on Raw, saying, look, you shouldn't do that. Cody and Seth have history since Cody's return to WWE.
Yeah.
It will suck for Cody to not get that title. But like we've been saying for a couple of months, whoever said it had to be at WrestleMania? So
Exactly.
if it is Rock versus Roman, Cody versus Seth, then perhaps Cody, it'd suck if Cody didn't beat Seth, but maybe he can beat Seth. That's fine. But he could still say this isn't the true end of my story, because if he's got the world title for a couple of months and then he loses it to Gunter or whoever, he could say, well, do you know what? That was a good story, but it wasn't my story. Roman, and then he could put all the focus onto that. Like we said before, well, if Punk is out now, I said that if Roman beats Rock, which he should do, because Rock isn't going to stick around and be champion, then Roman's story can still be that he overtakes Hogan. If Punk comes back and it's only a couple of months away or something, then we can still have Punk versus Roman with Paul Heyman in the middle of them, which will be a very juicy storyline. Roman can beat Punk, because I don't think there's any reason why Punk has to be a world champion. It'd be nice for him, but I don't think it needs to happen at all for it to be the perfect story for Punk. Punk just wanted a main event at Mania, which he can still potentially have. But then Cody can beat Roman at SummerSlam, because it's not like they don't put SummerSlam in stadiums.
Like, realistically now,
Yeah.
what's the big thing about Cody and Roman anyway? Like, there's no story. Like, apart from...
No, there is. I
There
disagree.
isn't, really.
There is.
All right, there is. There is a story that he lost last year at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But there's nothing to sink your teeth in it. There's no meat in it. For me,
Truthfully, on that regard, I think the story with Seth and Cody, since it was Cody that came back against Seth, and then he had the injury and stuff like that, I think they actually have more of an interesting history.
definitely.
Cody has defeated Seth like 3 times. He does not need
But
to.
that was before Seth became the man. Like, he's now got the title.
He's not the man. Beck is the man.
Well, yeah. Like, now, like, it's Seth's story now. So Seth,
It's that story. It's that story, and they
he's
can.
got to prove, because there's a guy that's beneath him in regards to Cody, because he's the champion. He's like, this guy, I haven't beaten him, and I'm the champion. Like, I've got to beat him.
They,
But Cody doesn't have to beat. You have to beat him to get the title, but he already knows he's beaten him 3 times before. So there's your story there. What's the story with Roman? Like, Roman, all right, he got cheated out of the victory last year, but it was Solo that done it to him.
it's the story is that out of Roman won the title in like with Solo's interference.
Yeah.
Cody is so determined he wins the Royal Rumble back to back the first time in 26 years. I don't think every wrestling feud needs a very personal I kill your puppy kind of story.
No, we don't need that, but we need a story to go into the biggest match of
I
the
will see this.
It is the championship. It is the championship that Cody's dad was never given. That is his story. He wants to prove that WWE was wrong about his father. WWE was wrong about his older brother. WWE was wrong about him. Cody did it his way. Cody went away from WWE, did everything that CM Punk said he was going to do, built a brand new company, was responsible for, he did all that stuff. He came back. He's on this, he's unstoppable. And Roman still cheats. Roman's the company, the guy that the company picked. And Roman still somehow manages to screw him over. 1 year, you build...
Well, I was going to say, there should have been still some kind of carryover between Roman and Cody.
Yeah, just like Seth wants to beat Cody. Seth wants to clear his name that okay, I lost 3 times to Cody. For Cody, it's like I need to beat Roman. I need to get that title from Roman. And I'll just as much as I hate Vince McMahon, something I can't exactly quote him, but something that he often used to say is the ending is what matters. You remember that AEW pay-per-view where they did that exploding barbed wire match? It was a pretty good pay-per-view, but the only thing that's talked about is how much they botched the ending. It's Roman has had this historic title reign. You need to end it like WrestleMania is. It's kind of like the season finale of WWE. You have this final boss in Roman Reigns. You honestly, Cody for me right now feels like he's like kind of like the protagonist, kind of like the main character of WWE. You have the main villain, you have the main character, and you have time to build a story. You have 3 months to build to make it like more personal between them. I feel you can still do Rollins versus Cody at Survivor Series if they're both champions, or you can do it somewhere down the line. But I think
if Cody gets the WWE title, I think you don't need to do Cody versus Seth whilst they're champions. That you can just keep those separate at that stage. I think though we'll find out tonight. I don't think they're going to milk this any further. We had Cody and Seth face to face tonight. I gather we'll have Cody and Roman face to face.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And
I just want to say one thing about that. I just want to say one thing about that. So the promo, a fantastic promo by Seth though. It was like, do you really want the Hulk Hogan title or do you want the Ric Flair title, the Dusty Rhodes title? Do you want to be a superstar? I mean, he didn't say it directly, but it was like, do you want to be a superstar? Do you want to be a Hollywood superstar? Or do you want to be a professional wrestler? This is the workhorse title. I think what Cody's gonna say is that, you know what, we shouldn't have a Hulk Hogan title. This title can also be the workers' prize. This title can also, and that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to make sure there isn't a Hollywood title. There is this championship which is for the professional wrestlers.
Or he challenges both of them, and it's a triple.
Or he can be both of them, yeah.
Although, I would like to just say, regarding Cody and Roman, it's quite simple. Would you rather see him beat someone he's already beaten, or would the crowd like to see him beat someone who's been undefeated? Championship retention, basically. So,
it's a bigger prize. You're right. Yeah, it is a bigger prize to beat him. Yeah.
I want to say though on that score with Seth telling Cody, do you really want to go to Hollywood and all that sort of stuff? How ironic Seth said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now he's come from Captain America.
Also, I have a solution for the Rock and Reigns situation as well, because even if he loses the title at Mania, he can be like, "But I'm still head of the table."
Yeah.
And the show can end with The Rock coming out saying, "Are you?" Which sets up for the year-long build for next year.
Exactly.
I mean, they could. Yeah, they can do. Absolutely. Cena and The Rock. They did the year-long build. I just worry that The Rock. I mean, look at Punk. He couldn't do 2 months without picking up an injury. I think with The Rock, they just need to say, look, we're doing this match in 2 months. We're going to have no physicality before then, and then because even when Rock wrestled Cena, he injured himself.
Yeah.
That's why his last match against Eric Rowan was literally 2 moves long.
But also when he did that segment with Jinder, he was gassed up just in some time. Even if you do Rock versus Roman is never going to be this 5-star classic. It's just something. It's the build that's the entertaining part. It's just going to be 10 minutes tops, 1 spear, and Roman wins. It's going to be. It's not going to be more than that.
I was going to say, the thing is, you got to remember, they're kind of old now. Rock is 51, so he's going to be probably doing a match similar to what Kevin Owens and Austin done a couple years ago.
Yeah.
It's going to be something.
Okay, I've got a slightly off topic, but a very quick question, which is something that bothered me. Unless I've forgotten, Jinder wasn't in the Royal Rumble, was he?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
They're hindering the Jinder.
They
What the
absolutely hindered the Jinder. Like, was that a punishment because he injured Seth? Although I think Seth injured himself. But why wasn't he, after all of that build-up, even in the Royal Rumble?
True, yeah.
And I don't think he was on Raw.
They needed to get Pat McAfee to do double duty.
Yeah, they wanted to hinder him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would just say that, just going back to Dev's idea for the ending of WrestleMania, of literally running out, Reigns coming out saying, I may have lost the title, I'm still head of the table. And The Rock coming out saying, are you? I think if they literally, is that all the dialogue that they do, the whole thing, the segment would still be 20 minutes long because of their entrances.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, guys, we can come back to some stuff in a few minutes, but we do need to decide who is our Slam Jam Champion of the Week. And since we've been talking a lot about WrestleMania, I've asked ChatGPT to prepare a WrestleMania-themed quiz. So, basically you buzz in by saying the word buzz, and there can often be lag, so if people say that, oh, you know, I buzzed in earlier, I can't do anything about it. What, Dave, you can't buzz in now? What was that?
I'm not buzzing in now, I just say I do have to go in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll do this quick. Right, okay, so which WrestleMania holds the record for highest attendance?
Buzz.
Oh, TJ.
WrestleMania 32.
Is the correct answer. Who won the first ever WrestleMania main event? Gav.
Hogan and Mr. T.
Yes, correct. Which celebrity has never appeared at WrestleMania? Okay, this is multiple choice. Just before you say Tom Cruise or something. It's multiple choice. This one is multiple choice. Mr. T, Floyd Mayweather, Shaquille O'Neal, or Mike Tyson?
Buzz.
Wait, what?
Buzz.
God.
That is wrong. All of
them have.
Yeah.
Chat GP bloody T every time. Right, okay, next up. Who holds the record for most WrestleMania losses? And now it gives you give an answer, and it might be someone that's on the list, but once again, it's given multiple choice. Dave.
I have to go on this answer. Triple H.
Wait, what? Most losses. Do you know what? It's got the wrong answer. It means the most wins. They're so useless. Who's got the most wins at WrestleMania, guys? Yeah, of course. It says the most losses, and it says The Undertaker. We'll do this final question, because these were all shit. Right. Which WrestleMania featured the Iron Man match for the WWE Championship?
Buzz.
Dave.
12.
There you go. Good. Okay, Dave, where can the people find you? We'll wrap things up in a minute.
On Twitter / X, whatever it is, David I do have to go. I'm so sorry.
That's no worries. I was about to wrap anyway. So, well, Dave is gone. Gav, I think you got the most questions, so you're this week's champion, so well done.
That's all right, we'll give it to the newbie. Dev.
Well, there you go, Dev. Right.
Thanks.
Okay, so the one thing I do have to do here is check to see if there's any late breaking news. Now, Dev, as this is your first time joining us, we have this weird habit of, as soon as the show is over, there's some breaking news. So we do try to check Twitter and things at the last minute just to see if there's any wrestling news breaking that we should have just reported. It's not wrestling news, but there is a tiny bit of sad news. The actor Carl Weathers has died, who famously played Apollo Creed in I'll bring it up here, in the Rocky movies. So obviously boxing related, movie related. He was in The Mandalorian with Sasha Banks. But yeah, that's super sad to read. That's the main thing that's come up on Twitter in the last little while. Other than that, I'll see if there's anything else. Or is there anything super important any of you guys didn't get to react to? What have we missed?
Jade Cargill.
Yes.
Brilliant performance. And the other thing is, the Women's Rumble, I was going to say something else, but completely top of the men.
Yeah, I agree. But even what we said earlier, just with our non-Forbidden Door moment with Jordan Grace, that was super exciting. Naomi returning, Super exciting in that. We had Andrade in the men's, but
Yeah.
like no one even... It went El Idolo at the beginning, but other than that, he came out looking like a character from Metal Gear Solid or something. Like,
Exactly.
the audience...
It was the Black Mask from Batman.
The what?
The Black Mask from Batman.
Oh yeah, you're quite possibly right there, yeah. But anyway, yeah, so I don't think there's any other breaking news, which means as soon as we finish the show, probably Vince will be back and all these other kind of things. Oh my god, there's like some sort of statement. I'm not gonna go on it now. But there's some like weird statement thing here with Glenn Jacobs, which might be hilarious to see, but I won't do it now. But it's some party political broadcast. We won't go into that territory though. Right, so with that, let's find out where we can find all of our Slam Jammers on social media, starting with TJ. Where can the people find you?
I changed my Instagram art page handle, so it's TJ_RoyX. You can find me there. Because TJ Roy was just not available, so TJ_RoyX. You can find me there.
Awesome stuff. Dev, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter /X at DEVLETBEK.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. It sounded like there was just going to be a tiny bit more. Okay, fantastic. Gav, where can the people find you?
I'm here. Next time.
Awesome stuff. Great, and my name is David Postansky. You'll find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at David Postansky. Do check out the Extreme Improv Xstreamed YouTube channel, as well as everything Slam Jam, which is on all of the social media over at Slam Jam Show or Slam Jam Wrestling. Check us out on YouTube, X, Twitter, Instagram, the lot. And so, with that, until next time, stay safe, always stay extremed, and ciao for now. Boom.